I saw the future of like, okay, when I graduate, it's not just going to be the one and done thing. The main reason why I joined the project as a candidate, even to go through it, was because I knew, it's a lifetime brotherhood, right? And so being able to connect with people, not just from my class, but people who are already graduated, just savages on top of badass people who improve themselves daily on a consistent basis. And that was really why I was doing it, because I wanted that network of just meaningful relationships.
Hey, what's up? I'm Steve Eckert, United States Marine, entrepreneur, and an instructor of The Project. Welcome to The Project Show. This is a show for men in search of meaningful transformations in their family, fitness, finances, and faith, so they can discover true fulfillment in their lives, achieving this through physical, mental, and emotional hardship and sacrifice, so they can become even better husbands, fathers, entrepreneurs, leaders, and men. I want to welcome to the show a graduate of Project Class 005, Carlos Charre. And if you say it any different, he will want to fight you. You can't tell him Charre or Chair. We called him Chair during the project, but he would correct you every time. And I like that about him. He wasn't afraid to stand up for himself and say it's Cha. He'd roll that R like a motherfucker.
Charre like churro.
Exactly. So before we first introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me on, Steve. So my name's Carlos Charre. Originally from.
Did you see that roll of the R?
You got to roll the R. I'm Latino, so I live in Temple City, California. That's near Pasadena, California. And right now I'm a marketing consultant. Basically, do email copywriting. Yeah.
Awesome. So before we even get started, I got to ask you this: how old are you? What are you? 29, 30, 33? How old are you?
22.
Hold on. First of all, what the fuck are you doing signing up for the project at 22? What do you do talking about marketing consultant and all this other stuff? Half the things you say, I'm 43. Half the things you say, I have to go fucking look up in the dictionary. I don't even know what you're talking about. So what the fuck are you doing as a 22-year-old? And you graduated, I think you were 21 when you graduated, right?
21, turned 22 during the project.
Oh, right. And you didn't tell us that until the graduation dinner. Smart move on your part. Oh, we would have had a fucking blast with you. I don't know. Did someone tell you not to tell us, or was that your idea?
No, it was just intuition.
Smart move on your part. So you're 21 years old at the time, really signing up for it. You're supposed to be out there getting drunk, getting in trouble, getting in fights, and getting all kinds of diseases and shit, and chasing ass. What are you doing sitting here right now and signing up for the project, coming back to help? Just where are you at when it comes to that mindset wise?
Yeah, so I originally went to college when I was 18 and basically dropped out my first year. And I basically started my entrepreneurial career, started reading books, getting into self-development, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, the basic generic books at a very early age. And that completely transformed my life. And so that took me onto an entrepreneurial route, started getting into business, some businesses that failed, social media marketing agency, started learning some skills. And, 3 years later, I'm now currently not doing my my own business, but I currently work with a mentor that I highly respect, and am in his consulting firm, you could say, in his business. But I was just at a point in life where I was not satisfied with my finances, and that was the biggest reason why I joined the project. Originally, this is a funny story. I love marketing and direct response marketing and just business. And so originally, my original intention was actually, I've been following Bedros for a while, Bedros Keuilian. And I originally scheduled a call and went through his sales process to kind of model a successful funnel, you could say, right? A sales funnel, meaning, basically taking someone who's totally cold, that doesn't know anything about your business, and you take them through this process.
So you know what I'm talking about? I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. All right, go on.
Anyways, long story short, so I got on a call, with the setter, who at the time was, one of the project graduates, and I would write down his questions because originally that was my intention. But after the call, I was going to have a call with another one of the instructors to go through the sales process and close me. And there was a 15-minute period at that time, and I took a shower. And I was originally, again, my intention was to model a successful approach, but it got me thinking, and this thought came into my head. I'm like, you know what? I am really unsatisfied with where I'm at right now in life. Although I'm young, yes, you know, I have high standards, and you know, other people in my life, you know.
You already had started your entrepreneurial route?
Had started, you know, obviously not you know, quote unquote successful in terms of finances, but you know, had some failures, learned some skills, and definitely, you know, got to know some people. But originally my intention was just, you know what, if I go through this super difficult thing, it's probably going to be the hardest thing I ever do in my life. And if I do it right now at an early age, look at that edge I'm going to get. So that was really the intention. And so I made a decision at that point in my life, you know, in that 15-minute period, I'm like, you know what? I don't know how much it's going to cost. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it. I probably don't have the money to pay for it. But you know what? If I want someone in the future to be an action taker when I offer something, you know, I need to be that first. So I made the decision before even getting on the call that I was going to go forward with it. So that was my mindset going into it.
That's awesome. Let me tell you something. You're a fucking badass. When I was 21, let me think where I was at when I was 21. I was in the Marine Corps when I was 21, probably getting ready to go to do a physical fitness test after not sleeping all night in Tijuana, trying to convince myself that the burning when I take a piss is just a urinary tract infection, and convincing myself. That's what I was going through at 21. So let me tell you, you're ahead of the fucking game where you are right now. Yeah, try to stay serious.
I appreciate that.
So it was a very serious show, very serious. So
absolutely
awesome stuff. You were on your way. Let me 22 years old. Holy shit! Like you were gonna go some places, and it's awesome having you part of the team. Let me ask, what was it that really, other than what you mentioned, that really made you resonate with what the project is about? Because this is not for everyone. This is definitely not for everyone. You see that, and that's what it's supposed to do. The way we show the project is supposed to scare off most men, but it's supposed to not scare off the ones like yourself. What was it that really resonated with you? You said, you know what, I really have to do this. What was the trigger that really started?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I think the trigger was basically what you just said. I mean, the way it's presented, the messaging, it's not for everyone. And I think that's why, you know, for crazy freaks, like you say, it draws them in. And so I believe, you know, if I'm going to do this, you know, obviously people who are like-minded, who have that mindset, who, you know, endure suffering because ultimately they think it's beneficial for them. You know, I want to be around that type of people. And so I have a very close circle, really no friends. You know, I cut everyone who was basically toxic in my life. And this was a way for me to, you know, meet amazing, you know, constant, never-ending, improving, badass intellectuals who also value fitness, right? That was a big thing. Faith, family, fitness, finances, what you guys mentioned. And so that really drew me. And I just found, you know, if I do this, you know, I'll be able to have a network to be able to collaborate with for you know, in the future. So,
Awesome. And don't feel bad. I don't have any friends either. I can't imagine why I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends in the world. So I don't know if are we considered friends? Yes.
I think so.
He called me the F word. The first person ever called me the F word, and it wasn't fuck off. It was they were actually friends. Good stuff. So what was it? What was from the time you were thinking about whether or not you were going to join, you first heard about, what were some of the fears or doubts or frustrations you had beforehand where you were thinking, what was going through your head? Do I have what it takes? Is it going to be too hard? What were the doubts you had about yourself or the program in general?
Yeah, and to be completely transparent, I mean, when you know, Aaron, I was on the phone with Aaron. He was the guy that, you know, ultimately closed me at the time. And he had mentioned the bell. Like what he said a question regarding like, what makes us think you're not going to ring the bell? And I didn't even know what that meant. So I thought, you know, you sign up for this and you got to finish. So I think that mindset, that's originally what was my mindset. And, you know, whatever you're going to pay for it, you know, it was probably one of the biggest investments of my life that I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. And there was no fucking way that I was going to quit, right? And so, you know, in terms of doubts and fears, my original thought, to be honest, I was excited. I thought, you know what? I need a good kick in the ass. This is probably going to be one of the toughest things I ever do in my life. And, you know, I'm ready for it. I'm excited to be broken because I want to kill my inner bitch. And I was excited. So in terms of fear, it was just more so the pressure in terms of the financial investment, right? And so getting instantly resourceful, because the moment I said yes, instantly, you know, Tim Grover has this saying that pressure is a privilege, right? And instantly, that same day, I started feeling the pressure and how to get resourceful and how I was going to pay for this. So yeah, I mean, in terms of fears, I would say that was probably the only fear, but I wouldn't really call it fear. I would call it like a privilege.
Good stuff. And on that note, just for men out there that are thinking, oh my God, the project is so expensive. It's $12,000. It's so expensive. If you're 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, and you're thinking that something is expensive, you can't even put a deposit down. You have to reevaluate where you are in life. The fact that you think that you can't afford something at 30, 35 is the exact fucking reason why you need to do something like that. If a 21-year-old can come up with the resources to put credit cards together and borrow money from people and make it happen in a short amount of time, think about if you're at a spot in your life and you've been in your career for 10, 12 years and you need a year to come up with $3,000. Obviously, the way you're fucking operating in life is not serving you. It's not getting you to where you need to be. If you're at 30, 35, 40 years old and you're hearing this coming from a fucking 21-year-old that was able to figure it out. Now, I don't want to hear it that he maybe doesn't have the kids or kids going to college. Bullshit. If you've been in a career for a decade and you don't have $3,000 for a down payment, you're just full of crap probably, and you're really just holding yourself back as you've been doing your entire life. Just wanted to throw that in there. Hearing him talk and realizing that I never would have been able to figure out how to make that happen, how to make that investment at that age. I wouldn't have been able to consider it. It's just impressive how far along you are. That's good stuff. So, all right, so now you got registered, you got over the hurdle, you're going to figure out how to pay for this as you go. You probably got set up on some installments. That's awesome. What was your preparation phase like? Once you got over the hurdle in your head about the financial investment, how did you start preparing? How much time did you have from when you got registered to your class?
Yeah, and I think I signed up pretty late. I think it was like a month and a half until I went in June 2020, so class 05. So there was about a month and a half. I was already in, somewhat good shape. I've always made that a priority and high value in my life. So in terms of fitness training, I just started, Ray, one of the instructors, we have the app. I don't know if you guys still have that, but the fitness app. So I was doing basically those exercises. But at the time it's COVID season right now. At the time of recording this, right? And so gyms were closed. I didn't have access to a gym, weights. What I did have access to was, my body. I mean, even the parts were
amazing.
My body, right? And so what I would do is, Ray had these weekly, I think he still does them, but like 1,020 push-ups, 17 push-ups every single minute. Never done that in my life, but I joined one. I was like, holy crap! I was sore after the first time I did it, but I'd do that. Some of the project brothers in the group, I went hiking with one of them even beforehand to like this super big ass hike, one of the highest peaks, San Jacinto in California, which is like 10,000 plus feet.
Nice.
So we bonded over that. I mean, that was even before the project, and just doing something every single day. We would do what are they called, the Murphs. But really just whether it's running 3 miles or just push-ups for an hour at a consistent time, or like, EMOMs every minute on the minute, just small things over a period of time. But it wasn't really anything too drastic. Again, I was, I'm not super overweight or anything, so that's probably an advantage. But, it was just doing something every single day to get a sweat in.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So 6 weeks is what it sounds like you had from when you signed up. So, and here's another lesson to men out there. The men that we're in, what month are we in right now? We're in February. We just started February, and we have men telling us they want to wait till August or November to come into the project. They're talking about damn near a fucking year. It doesn't take that long to get in shape. I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years. You could do that in 6 weeks if you had to, maybe a little longer depending on where you are. So just lessons after lessons after lessons. Like, stop making those excuses. These things that you're letting hold you back from pulling the trigger, from moving forward, from taking fucking action are the exact reasons why you need to do shit like this. Like, those are the faults that are holding you back. No one needs to wait from February to November. It just doesn't need to happen. So another good lesson right there. So let me ask you, let's get into the program itself. You're there, you're training, you're right in the middle of it. What is the part that just fucking sucked for you? What was your least favorite part of the experience of those 4 days, 75 hours?
Yeah, if I could be being radically transparent.
If you say that you just couldn't fucking stand me, you wanted me to drop dead, then I don't want to hear it.
No.
Because I am the nicest, sweetest, most gentle person there. I have a foot rub set up for you every hour. We have cold beers, and we put fucking umbrellas in your water bottle. So it better not be anything against me, but go on.
No, you're definitely teddy bear of the experience. I would say the thing that I hated the most, I wouldn't say hate, but definitely the first day definitely was the most intense. And I would say, the pit for sure. Going long distances in the pit multiple times during a single day. That was definitely probably the most, the part I hated the most. But now that I think of it, it was probably, the thing that I appreciate the most. Another part was just, the lack of sleep, normal sleep, right? So I remember the first day, even the second day, I had to force myself to try to stay up even during lecture time when Bedros or yourself were talking. And I remember on the first day, after like the second time, Ray's staring me straight, one of the instructors, he's staring you straight at at your face with this like killer look as if he's just going to like slap the shit out of you. And, I just could not stay up for some reason, maybe because of the heat. And I'm usually not that person. And so just staying up and awake and being present for the experience, I think was one thing that, was a weakness for me. And I even threw up the first night. Again, I'm not usually that guy. And so it was just totally not expecting that. But, I threw up the first night and, got it kind of out of my system. But staying up, the pit, and throwing up the first night just for various reasons.
So Carlos is here to help out with classes 007 starts tomorrow at noon. And the reason why I asked this question, we do these interviews right before, it gives me nice, fresh ideas. So I'm going to make sure to make note of this. All right, so we got first night, put some more pressure on you the first night, because I asked what's the worst thing. So I know how to give you a more pleasant experience tomorrow when you start your journey in the project. So you could thank Carlos here for fucking that all up for you. We're going to spend some more time in the pit. We're going to fuck with your sleep even more. We're going to make sure that, what was the other one?
I threw up for, maybe
it was just you being nervous. I don't know what that was from, but yeah. All right.
Usually I eat clean, and so maybe what I ate from what you guys, the delicious food that you guys served us.
It's gourmet. It
was
is gourmet
maybe
stuff.
had some after effects.
All right, awesome, good stuff. So you're in some of those tough moments. You just mentioned what are some of the tougher moments for you. What is your trigger what is your button in your head because even if you never really considered quitting, there was a moment where it flashed in your head, like, why am I here? I'm just going to go home. I'm going to get out of here. What was it in your head that made you not quit? What was your trigger, your button, your not be a little bitch button that you had that would steer you away from that whenever you would get those little slight moments of weakness during the project?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just the financial investment. It was one of the biggest investments that, I had ever made. And there was just no way that I was going to quit. I didn't even know quitting was an option, like I said at the beginning. And I remember Bedros said, he gave us a video, when we were in the original Facebook group. I don't know if, you guys still have that going on. But Bedros had posted a video before we all arrived. And he's like, this is how you graduate the project or something of that caliber. And he's like, either you're going to graduate or you're going to die. Come with that mentality. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Hell or high water, I'll do whatever it takes to graduate. What's good is that you're not doing this alone. I don't think you guys have had a class yet where there's only one graduate. So I'm
working on it. That's my goal. The graduation dinner is just going to be the fucking instructors and the junior instructors. It's going to be some good stuff.
I'd like to connect with that guy. That'd be a fun person. But yeah, I mean, it was just that mentality, just having that mentality. I think the biggest thing for people who do quit, they come in with that option of saying, you know what, either I'm gonna graduate or there's that option to quit.
I think it's fucking funny that most people that when we ask that question, they're like, it's my son. I would never be able to go back and face my son and look him in the eyes and say, Daddy quit. I'll lie to him and say I got injured because they'll do it. Yours is like, fuck, I just spent a shitload of money. There's no way in hell I'm going to go and volunteer to leave when I spent this fucking money. I'm going to do whatever. Like, that's a great answer.
And I think to add on that also, now that I remember, is just the, I think in terms of like second and third order consequences. I originally learned that from Ray Dalio, this billionaire.
See what I'm talking about?
Anyways.
See what I'm talking about? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Go on.
Anyways, he consults like Bill Gates and whatnot. But what that means is, if I'm going to take this action, what's going to result from that? And not just what's going to result from that, but what's going to result from that, right? So kind of like a second and third order consequence. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I saw the future of like, okay, when I graduate, it's not just going to be the one and done thing. The main reason why I joined the project as a candidate, even to go through it, was because I knew, it's a lifetime brotherhood, right? And so being able to connect with people, not just from my class, but people who are already graduated, and people like you, who may potentially graduate, right? Just savages on top of badass people who, just improve themselves daily on a consistent basis. And that was really why I was doing it, because I wanted that network of just meaningful relationships. So that was another big one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So when you start thinking back at the project itself, what are some standout moments? Not necessarily the achievement moments, but just the ones that when you look back, you're like, you know what? That it's just the memories, the funny stories you have. What is it that pops to mind? Something outrageous that happened that probably in the moment fucking sucked, but then later on, like a week later, you just driving in your car and you almost crash a car and piss yourself because you're thinking, you know what, that was like a privilege to happen. Anything stand out?
Yeah, I'd say for sure I'd say two. The first day, I don't know if you guys did this with every class, so maybe you guys could expect this, but literally the first 20 minutes when we were at that crappy hotel, it's a hot summer day.
That's that luxury, that's like a 5-star place here in Chino Hills.
Oh yeah, five-star place, for sure.
I heard someone got murdered there last week, but I'm not sure.
I think that's what you guys told us too. I wouldn't doubt it. But literally the first 20 minutes, it's a hot summer day, and I had originally I arrived late when the junior instructors arrived for check-in, even before the process started. And so maybe that was a factor, but anyways, the first 20 minutes, we were literally on our fours, on our hands in the hot summer heat, hot black gravel, whatever the term is, doing push-ups, doing bear crawls, and I think you guys said you guys could start smelling fresh flesh, and so I had the worst of it. But I don't know if this was with other classes, but literally our hands were burning and our skin was basically frying up, and throughout the whole process, we had basically open wounded, second degree burns or whatever the third degree burns throughout the whole process. So it sucked. So that definitely sucked. But now that we talk about it, it's always a laughing moment for sure. I'd say another part.
We learned a lesson there that on July class 1st, we're going to give you those cooking mittens that you're going to use for when you do push-ups outside on the ground, because you guys literally did a set of push-ups and you came up and your skin is like peeling. Like, what the hell? That's never happened before. That was not an intentional part of the thing, but lesson learned. So now we have a bunch of cooking mittens. You're going to be running around in these pink cooking mittens next time for the class. So
you guys are the lucky
welcome
ones.
to Carlos again there next class.
And I would say the other moment, if I could share one more, was one of the guys from our class, Serrano. He's a firefighter. He thought it would be funny to you guys got the content team there, recording, taking photos. And he thought it was going to be funny to smile for the camera while people were recording them. And you instantly saw it. And, you did your special teddy bear stuff. And we all suffered for it. And, after our class, when we got, the highlights and whatnot, I was looking through the photos and I realized, you know what? I found the photo. I have it on my phone, but I saw him smiling and he actually did it again. And
there was actually a second one.
There was a second one.
Some rock star thing with his tongue sticking out. And
I don't remember if you guys caught that one, but we got punished for that for sure. I wanted to do that too, but I think I was a little smarter. But he did it regardless, so we got punished for that. But I think that was definitely.
And that's such a good point. Like he got to the point, and I'm sure you had your moment where you got to the point where you went to the other side. You were over the edge of it being hard and the struggle, and you realize it is a fucking privilege, and you start having fun. Like, sure, he got punished for it. I never would have known about it. For the record, the media guy ran over to me immediately and said, hey, you might want to check this out. Just because he wanted to stir the pot, I think, a little bit. So you could thank the guy behind the camera for fucking you guys over for that one. So, but think about it. To me, that's fucking worth it, right? Worth it for him to do that. Now he has that memory of that moment of just how much fun it was in the craziness and the chaos where everyone else is thinking that it's so hard and suffering, and learning to make those things enjoyable. Like, you're unbeatable then. You can't be defeated. If you could take the worst, the things that grown men are fucking crying and quitting and going back to tell their kids that they're a quitter from, and you're able to do it with a smile, sticking your tongue out, knowing you're going to get fucking thrashed 10 times worse for it, but knowing it's worth it now for that moment. And now you have that picture and you have it to remind yourself of that same way. So that's just that's an awesome moment. And I interviewed him a couple months ago because he was back here all the time, as you know, and he brought up the same thing. We talked about the same thing. So that was an awesome moment. So now you graduate the project, you go home. What were some of the how and you live close by, so not a long drive, right?
Right. Yeah, like 30 minutes away.
Okay, awesome. So you get back home. What are some of the immediate impacts that the project had in your life? Things that immediately implementable that you could actually insert right into your life, marching orders to have an immediate effect when you got back home?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I did a lot of reflection immediately when I came back, because again, I mean, big investment, at least for me. And I did that. I basically asked myself the same question and how I could implement what I learned. And the biggest thing I got from the project and things that I took away immediately and started applying to my life was the creed. Memorizing that and living my life by that, specifically the first line. I mean, I'm a man of my word. I make a promise and I keep it. That alone forced me to just be super more aware and watch out for the things that I say and make promises for. And I just have like a sixth sense now. Whenever people ask me to do something, I fall off sometimes, right? But it's very minimal. And just following the creed, you'll learn it when you guys come. But I won't recite it here. But I'm a man of my word. I make a promise and I keep it was definitely a big one for me, as well as I would say. Just having high standards of expectation for my life, constantly, wanting to be the best to my ability, making sure that I ask myself like, hey, was I proud of that? And if not, going back to doing it until I was proud of it. Not just doing some average work, regardless of whether it's a workout, and finishing strong, or whether it's finishing up a project, writing an email and yeah, this is good enough, but let me make sure it's good.
Is it fucking excellent? Is it excellent? Is it over the top?
Exactly.
Is it going the extra mile?
Exactly. Just having high standards of expectation from the littlest things. So those were definitely two. Let's see. If I could think of what's another one, I'd probably think of it after a few more questions. But just the simple fact. I mean, if you guys just did that, a man of my word, I make a promise and I keep it.
You change your life right there.
You change
One
your
fucking
life.
line. One line. Awesome stuff.
I mean, that's how I joined the project. I mean, I told myself, you know what? I don't know the investment, but I'm going to do it. And so it kind of started that way as well. But, it just reinforces and really in a dramatic way reinforces it. And now I have all these stories and, anchors from the project that just make me remember that one sentence. Mm-hmm. And so that was a huge one.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So then what were some of that was immediate, because that's something you can apply right away, right? That was so immediately implementable. You can plug and play into your life. What were some of the lessons that came later? Now it's been how long? It's
been like 6 or 8 months.
That far already? All right. So 6-8 months since you graduated. What are some of the lessons that kicked in later on? Weeks later, months later, on a regular basis? What are some longer term things that clicked in? Because that's the goal of the project, is not just this is not just a motivational weekend. You're not going to some Tony Robinson thing where you're jumping up and down and screaming and high-fiving and hugging a bunch of strangers and going home and letting that motivation wear off by fucking Tuesday. We're looking to make this a lifelong brotherhood of just kick-ass, motivated, hungry, successful men that support each other, have each other's back no matter what, looking to lift each other up without expecting anything in return. That's the goal of it. So we want those aha moments to come down the road, nonstop, all throughout your life for years, for fucking decades later. So what were some of the longer term effects and lessons that popped up later on in your life? And you were like, you know what? That's why we did this that specific way with that attention to detail, because of this, and it pops up in your life. Anything come to mind like that? A longer term lesson or effect?
Yeah, I would say one of the immediate ones as well. Longer term effects was Bedros had mentioned a line during the project, during lecture, and he said, one of the most selfish things he does is sending a gratitude message every single day. And that really stuck with me, because I was like, here's this guy, right? I mean, just one of the many, right? Here's this man, very successful man, who, I respect, right? and he's got the all the cool things. He's got the family. He's got the fitness, family, finances, whatever. Yet he says the most selfish thing he does every single day is sending a gratitude message, right? People could take that the wrong way, because I remember telling that to my mother, and she was like, selfish, like, and she had like a negative kind of frame to it. But the selfish meaning for himself. It's the most selfish thing, because that makes him feel satisfied, right? And it's so simple and free. And so I started applying that as well, sending selfie videos, on a regular basis as well. And, people don't have to respond to it, but, different people in my life, coworkers, colleagues, people who I literally just met. And, that just one habit, I applied from the project. And, it's one of the most selfish things I do as well. It's a start. It plants the seeds to amazing fruitful relationships as well. So that was one thing. Another thing I would say is just the fact of doing savage shit on a regular basis. One of the reasons why I joined the project, just in the original messaging, it was increase your mental toughness, your confidence, your self-discipline, your great, your resiliency or whatnot. And originally when I came into the project, I thought, if I get through this, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to become disciplined. I'm going to become, resilient. But the breakthrough that I got coming after the project, it's just like with any course. Like I've been to Tony Robbins concerts, right? Or, events.
See, concerts,
right?
Concerts.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, they're awesome, right?
Sure it is.
But just like with any course or event, it fades after a week. What you put in is what you get out. And so what I learned, a breakthrough for me, and it feels so like apparent now, but it wasn't, 8 months ago, was discipline, confidence, mental toughness, grit. It's not a one and done thing, right? So if you're coming to the project to achieve that, great. It's going to be, you're going to get that for a week. But if you don't constantly work at that on a daily basis, you're going to lose it. And so just the fact of, achieving this super high goal, and once I achieve the top, then everything's going to be, I'm going to be in a state of total bliss. That's not how it works. It's a constant never-ending process. And that's one big breakthrough that I got from the project. And so on a weekly basis, I go on new hard hikes, which I didn't do before. That's a new hobby of mine. For the past 19 weeks, I've gone on a hike.
That's awesome.
Right? And a new hike it's one of my favorite things I do all week. Another thing is just, the benefits, you have a brotherhood, right? A lot of people are in SoCal, but this is a growing brotherhood, and there's different people in different states. And if not, you could drive 5 hours to meet up someone for a day and have a kick-ass time. I mean, we just did a 130-mile bike ride, even with your 9-year-old son, Tyson. Yeah. I mean, that's insane, right? And it was with like 7 other of the brothers, and it was one of the best days of my life. And so just having the experiences over the long term, I mean, it's only been 8 months, and we've probably done, I've been to your house like 4 or 5 times. Maybe you don't do that with everyone, right? but
think about that. I remember that the first time you come over was for a barbecue, and that was only a few weeks after you just graduated.
That was literally like
that was
2 weeks after, 3 weeks.
I remember sitting there and just sitting back and just looking at the picture of everyone that's there and thinking like, what a fucking powerful thing that's here. Like just 2 weeks ago, you were crawling through the fucking dirt, probably wishing death and destruction upon me, but it clicked in and realized that everything had a purpose, everything had a reason. There you are sitting at the house with my family. We're having a barbecue with a bunch of the other project graduates like that. I literally sat back and just actually took some pictures of it and don't even know I was taking, just to reflect on it and realize how powerful the project is. And going back to what you said about the gratitude text and the selfies, before the bike ride, you sent one to Tyson, and I showed it to him the night before, right before we went to sleep. We only did it like on 3.5 hours sleep because we had to get up at 1:30 in the morning. It's fucking crazy. But I showed it to him right before we went to sleep, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." But it meant so much to him to see that someone. He's like, "Why?" It clicked in his head like someone's thinking of me right before the night before they have to worry about going to this bike ride, and they're thinking of me. So it's a win-win, right? It's a force multiplier. It's giving you now as we send back, and I'm like, Tyson appreciate it. Thanks so much. You're fucking awesome for sending that. So yeah, you're getting your. Like it's feeling good about doing it, but he also is too. So why? That's such a huge thing. It goes both ways. That's a force multiplier. So awesome stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. If I could share one more, it popped into my head now. It's one of the biggest benefits as well is you mentioned in the project staying in the green, right? And, you show a graph of like, up and down, and then there's like a center. And what that means to me, right? You guys will, if you guys get far enough, you guys will, get to learn that. But staying in the green to me means, not being, whether you win a Super Bowl championship like Tom Brady did yesterday for the 7th time, or you just lose someone, a loved one, or you get fired from a job, or whatever it is, the lowest of lows, right? Get over it, spend 24 hours or whatever, but then get back to the green, meaning get back to the center spot. The next day is a new day, win the day, right? And just keep at that and stay, don't feel super excited about a huge accomplishment. Yeah, embrace it for the day, embrace the loss for the day, but get back and start a fresh day with, just a brand new mindset, to conquer and win the day. And so that was another huge win. And I'd say the last one just for now is, in the project, the creed, there's a sentence in there that says, grovel to no one. And before the project, I had this list of, people that I want to be connected with, right? One of them was Bezos. Another one, let's just say Tony Robbins. People that I respect, a list, right? And, originally, I have vision boards or whatnot. I have their pictures on my vision board of people who I want to be in relationship with, have this, billionaire circle of influence. And, I'd look up to them, right? I wouldn't pray to them or praise them, but, I would do it to a level of extent like, wow, how good would it be if I could only connect with these guys, right? But the sentence grovel to no one, over the period of time, I realized, what? Treat everyone as their equal. Yourself compared to, from the lowest guy who's on the street to the billionaire, that I'll meet tomorrow. Treat them with the same respect as if you would anyone. And don't praise someone just for being this successful quote unquote person, but just don't praise anyone. I mean, treat everyone as your equal. So that was another huge thing that I personally got from the project.
Awesome, good stuff. You've touched on it already. What does it mean to you now, several months later, just to be part of this brotherhood, to have this connection with just men from not just around? I mean, there's tons of us here in California, but all over the country, all the world, from different ages. Like, you're 22. The oldest graduate, I think, is 54. We have, I think, a gentleman coming tomorrow, I think 57. Another one down the pipeline, 59. So having that connection, what does it mean to you, and how has it affected your life and impacted your life just to be part of this brotherhood and have connections like this? I don't know if you've had those type of connections before, but what does it mean to you to have that right now?
Yeah. And to be honest, again, I don't think I've ever had that connection before with really anyone. I realized, the people that I value the most, the people that I'm most connected with, and have a deep relationship with, are people that I do really hard shit with, right? If I look at my life, those are the people that I value the most because I've gone through extreme suffering with. And so, it's awesome because this is a brotherhood, a pack of savages who have that same mindset. We
call it project that shit. Something goes wrong, project that shit.
Project that shit. That's it. Like, I've gone on 60-mile bike rides with you. I've done 130-mile bike rides with you just recently in the past, 2 weeks. We have our own WhatsApp group for our class and, to stay connected. And, Serrano, the guy you interviewed, a few weeks ago, one out of the blue just says, hey guys, I'm doing a 10-mile challenge this week. If anyone wants to do it, just say yeah. And so I'm like, okay, cool. If I didn't have that, that influence or that circle, I wouldn't even have that thought. And so it forced me to get out of my comfort zone and just do I haven't ran 10 miles in months. And so I do it. It sucked, but I did it. I felt, again, it's one of the best days of my life when I do hard shit. And so it's that constant influence, even in the, in our Connect group on Facebook or, wherever it is now, but it's currently on Facebook, just ideas of hard shit and people willing to do that because they have that mindset. If you go out, if you look at your current circle of influence, maybe there's one or two people that are like that. I mean, this is like a room filled with them and, to get deeper connected with. So definitely have, another experience even before the project, one of the guys, Camaro, maybe you've interviewed him as well on the show, but even before the project, 2 weeks before the project, I'm like, hey bro, you're young like me, let's connect. I know you're in SoCal. there's this mountain that I really want to, I want to conquer. It's the biggest mountain I've ever done. It was like 20 miles, San Jacinto Peak in California. It's like 10,000 feet elevation, it'll be all day. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And by the way, can I bring a 30-pound, like, a sack or a weight vest? I'm like,
now you got to do it probably.
I'm like, bring it. Yeah. And so, on top of, and so what I'm trying to say is, that's the type of people who are in this group, and it's not just about fitness, but it's all areas of your life. But, that's a value that I
So you have now positive male peers, positive male role models. Is that something before the project that you had a lot of in your life? Positive male role models, really, and peers?
No, absolutely not. So, meaningful relationships is huge for me. And that was definitely my intention going into the project, like I mentioned. And so my dad, I respect my dad, but he's nothing like this, right? I mean, there's like you said, my dad's like 52, right? There's people that I could call brothers that are 52 in the brotherhood, right? And, so in terms of having that pack of savages, one or two one-offs and, no one nearby maybe, but so huge, it's priceless, right? The benefits you get after graduating, and, it's only the beginning really when you graduate. So
the process of the project for you started first weeks before, because you already were connecting with people, already realizing that, wow, I'm already leveling up my game and working on my personal development before you even showed up here, because you connected with some other people. So you made some connections beforehand. You started training a little bit different beforehand, had a little different mindset for those 6 weeks before, then the experience itself. And now 7, 8, 9 months later, still having the continued effects of the project. So this is far from just we call it a 75-hour experience, but this is far from just a 75-hour event, one and done, and you're on your way.
Absolutely. I mean, what you put in is what you will get out. And so, people are constantly wanting to create experiences to get deeper connected. And, the huge benefit is just that these brothers inside this group, that's the type of shit that they love. So that's what I could say. But yeah, awesome. I mean, it's a never-ending process. It's priceless.
Good stuff. What's something you would tell someone that is in your shoes, whatever the age, doesn't even matter the age, or maybe even your age. I mean, there's not many in your peer group that are thinking the way you're thinking. I mean, that's just a reality of what it is. But someone that's in your shoes right now that's maybe sees the project, they think it might be for them, but they're in the same position you were. Maybe they're having some fears, some doubts about themselves. What's something you would tell someone like that was in your shoes?
Yeah, I would say if you want, if you value, meaningful relationships in your life, and you want to surround yourself with, faith-driven, fit-driven, fit enthusiastic people, who want to achieve the best in their finances, in their family, and really have I wouldn't use the word balance, but just a kick-ass life in every aspect of their life, I would say join the project. If you're in my shoes particularly, right, you're in your 20s, even if you're 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, I would say, money will always come back. Experiences are priceless, right? And so whether it's a hefty investment or it's an easy investment for you, right? Whether it's a time investment or whatever, money will always come back, and you could always make more money. You're in control of that, right? And, experience is priceless. And the sooner you get into this, the sooner you could start building relationships, the sooner you could start transforming your life. And really the biggest thing that I've gotten from this is just the experiences, the constant push, the sixth sense of knowing, like, shit, even when I'm all alone, like, I have that sixth sense of, like, I want to become my best self because I'm in this brotherhood. And even for the people who are maybe even lower than me in this brotherhood, I want to inspire them as well. And I know if I'm not leveling up, I'm kind of doing a disservice. So it just being a part of this automatically makes you want to level the fuck up. And, I'm constantly putting, in terms of, for instance, when people ask you your why, right? And people would ask me why. I feel like I came to the conclusion, well, you know what? The older you get, I feel like the more why you could get. I'm so young, like, I don't even know what my why is, right? But going through the project, that's been one of my biggest whys, right? To achieve in finances, to, achieve the life that I ultimately want. Why? because I want to also inspire the people, who are in this brotherhood as well, level them up, level the future people up like yourselves, and, just make this as savage as possible. So yeah, that's what I would have to say.
Good stuff. So men out there, if you're 35 years old, 40 years old, you're getting fucking schooled right now by a 22-year-old young buck on meaningful relationships, creating and developing experience in your life, even how to have a mindset about money. And that's a great point. I mean, you're going to make more money, but you're going to lose that time. You're not going to have those experiences, because we hear that on a daily basis. It's too much money. I can't afford it. And all the other excuses, when there's always a way to do it and always a way to make it happen. So that was a great way of putting it. So let's finish off with, you're here again as a junior instructor for class 007 tomorrow, and we appreciate you taking the time to, out of your life and a week out of your life to do that. What's a few pieces of advice, maybe 3 pieces of advice you'd have for that group coming in that's about to start their journey tomorrow? They're about to step on the yellow footprints tomorrow and get started. And probably that advice could be good for any man out there that's going through a fucked up day, a fucked up life, and things that they could probably use also. So what are a couple pieces of advice you'd have for those guys coming in tomorrow?
Yeah, so for you guys coming in tomorrow, I would say number one, change your mindset real quick. If you even have a thought of deciding, whether I could either graduate or quit, take that mindset out of your mind and don't imagine that a bell doesn't even exist. Because that's exactly what I did, and I'm a firm believer that those who just come in with one outcome in mind, either you're going to graduate or you die, you're going to graduate, right? Because that you can't take that away from someone. That's number one, my biggest tip to actually graduating. Tip number 2 is teamwork, right? In terms of being selfish in the project, like finishing first, or, putting out and doing it for your own selfish reasons, in terms of, just being the first one every single time. A big thing is teamwork. So when you're in the project, each day, teamwork is something huge, and, you'll develop your leadership skills for sure. So I would just say, step up. Even though you're probably tired, or you don't feel like, you're the toughest guy in the group, or, the oldest, or, the most qualified in the group. Stepping up was one of the biggest things I got, because I remember one part in the project where I had to be the leader, and I stepped up to the plate. And we got through an evolution, and it was a turning point in the second day in terms of everyone finishing, the mile faster, a minute faster than what was intended for each one. And so that was one of the biggest breakthrough moments. So when you can step up and you're asked to be a leader, do it. Because you're more so for your benefit in future premises, you can use that as an anchor for your life. And I'd say tip number 3 is, just positive affirmations. Don't be a negative pessimist. Believe that things happen for you, not to you. And just have the positive outlook on life. Don't be reactive. Just here's an insight to graduate. Last one. Even though you're doing something good, like doing proper form on a push-up, Steve or one of the instructors are gonna mess with your head to see if you react emotionally, and you're only going to make things worse.
In all fairness, your class was a shit show. We didn't have to make anything up. You guys gave us so many fuel and ammunition of all the fuck-ups that you were doing.
I could have sworn.
We didn't have to pretend anything.
I could have sworn the first day, when we were doing push-ups, like 2 hours in, I was doing proper form. Steve yelled at me to go run to the pit, and I could have sworn I was going to, talk back to him, I'm doing proper, but I shut up. And I just went with the flow. There's a process to this. The instructors are dialed in. It's an amazing world-class experience. So trust the process. And even if you're doing things good, things are still going to go shit, but that's part of the process. So those are my tips.
Awesome. Good stuff. And let me tell you, I'm going to have to go back and watch the recording of this and take notes myself, because we're sitting here and I want to keep writing down different notes that are sparking in my head while Carlos is talking. So I'm sure you got tons of fucking golden nuggets out of this right here, that this episode alone, before you even join the project, just this episode alone can help you really can change your life just by listening to some of the things that he's telling and sharing about his experiences, about the meaningful relationships, about the creating of experiences and everything else he's mentioned. So appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you coming on and helping out as a junior instructor tomorrow. So where can we find you online, or how can someone reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, quickest way I'd say go to Instagram, Carlos Charre, Charre Jr.
There's
Jr.
7 R's there, 7 R's. Charre.
2 R's. Carlos Charre Jr. Jr. On Instagram, and that's probably the best way to connect.
All right, awesome stuff. If you got any value out of this and this made an impact in your life, just please like and share this video and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We will see you next time here on The Project Show. You are fucking awesome. No excuses.